Hey guys, so bit of a different video today. As you can tell, I am clearly not in yoga gear and I've already done my videos for bedtime and morning yoga, so I thought I would talk to you a little bit about some changes that are going on with me and just sort of things that I'm learning along the way that I just thought would be good to talk about. So maybe get yourself a coffee or a tea and yeah, I'm just going to talk a little bit about life changes really, and how I'm going around changing my career. Okay, so for a lot of you guys that know me, you know that I've worked in environmental education for I think about 7 or 8 years. I started after I'd finished university, so I had a fine art degree, which is obviously incredibly handy, and I was working as a picture framer. And yeah, I got really interested in wildlife basically, so I'd always kind of had a huge passion for wildlife and animals, but as I got older I kind of thought, yeah, no, that's what I'm going to do. So at the time I didn't consider that it was actually maybe a little bit crazy, but I did decide to leave the city where I was living, leave my job, leave my home that I was living with my friends, and move back home so that I could volunteer basically on a full-time basis to try and get this goal. I think it was only when I thought about it later that I was like, wow, that was quite a thing that I did. I sort of really did drop everything and decide this was the way forward for me, but it felt completely right, completely normal at the time. So that's what I did. So I volunteered for a year for the Wildlife Trust, kind of gained loads of experience and knowledge, and then yeah, kind of got into the environmental sector via education. So I was teaching kids of all different ages for quite a few years now, lots of different charities, lots of different projects, working with people from all different backgrounds. So it's been really interesting, massively important to me, and I think when people ask you, as they always do, you know, what do you do? I was really proud of what I did. I felt like it was something that really showed my identity, kind of who I am. And I think that's a really important thing about your career, that it's so interlinked with your identity. And I think when you can start to feel like that career isn't for you, it's very hard, because you feel like, well, that's a huge change going on in my whole life, and it's probably going to, you know, play with the idea of who I think I am and my identity and place in the world. So just obviously going on, you know, I've been really enjoying my job for a very long time. I found yoga around about probably the same sort of time. I was on and off with yoga, just practicing. I used to go to a lot of Pilates classes with my mum, and really enjoyed that whole thing. And then 2 years ago now I qualified as a yoga teacher. So I think coming up to now 3 years ago, my mum passed away, and I think when something like that happens, you have these huge eye-opening moments where you think, am I doing the right thing anymore, or is there something I should be doing that's actually more important to me? You know, when I wake up in the morning, I think it's something everyone should ask themselves, like, what's that first thought, that first feeling? You know, what energy do you have for the day? Is it, yes, I can't wait to get today going, and, you know, get really excited and passionate about what you do? Or do you kind of wake up each day going, oh, what day is it? Like, well, what have I got to do today? Like, how am I going to get myself through the day? So I decided to train as a yoga teacher. Again, it was something that I suddenly felt like I had this gut reaction to do, like something just told me, go for it. So it was on a lunch break, a job I was currently working on. I just signed up. I just signed up to do the training, signed up to go and do a weekend course, and then signed up to do my 200-hour teach training. It all kind of fell into place. So the training was on days I didn't work, and I just did it. I just went for it, and again, really didn't think too much about it. You know, I kind of thought financially about it, and if I thought it would be something appropriate for me to do, but it just felt like the right thing to do, so I did just do it, which is maybe a bit of a theme with me. But I massively enjoyed my teacher training. It was one of the best experiences of my life, and considering everything going on in my life at the same time, it was exactly what I needed. I made some amazing friends that I still see now, who are just awesome. And they, it's very different when you meet people who you kind of meet through university or school or maybe work, and then something like training like for yoga or like something really specific that actually is just your passion. At the time it wasn't considered as being my career, it was just something I really, really liked. That you can have very different relationships with these people, and I really, really enjoyed that I could have these very different relationships with all these people in my life. Anyway, I feel like I'm going off track. I decided, that I was going to do it, and then I finished my training, and then made another pretty enormous life change, I guess, was that I decided to go travelling for 8 months around the world, pretty much on my own. So it was again my job. I was maternity cover. I was covering somebody when that came to an end. Just felt like the right thing to do, so I went and did it. Which again, probably the best thing I've ever done in my life for myself and for everyone around me, and something I look back on incredibly fondly and want to do more of. But it was something I just did. I did it. I thought, about it financially. I thought about it, like, what does that actually mean logically for where I'm living and all of these things. But really just went for it because it felt like the right thing to do for me. So, fast forward 8 months from there, I came back. I briefly moved to London. I've never been a massive fan of London, sorry Londoners. It's just not where my heart is, sort of thing. So for some people I know, they are massively passionate about London, so I'm not going to say there's anything wrong with London. But for me, I was working down there for a while, one job, and then it just didn't stick with me. So I kind of looked for something else relatively quickly, which isn't something I normally do. And then I've been working down in London but deciding to commute for the last 6 months or so. So as you know, I'm based in Milton Keynes in Bletchley, and that's it's been going fine. It's absolutely it's something you can do. So many people commute, so it's not, I'm not saying it's hard me, because I commute, thousands of people commute every single day, but it is, it takes a bit of a toll on you, I guess. At the same time, I've also wanted to develop my yoga career, so I do really enjoy teaching. My day-to-day is teaching. I work on a farm where I teach kids about the environment, animals and wildlife, and then I come home and I teach people about yoga. So I realised that teaching, although I've never wanted to be a teacher at a school, teaching is something I really, really enjoy. So I knew I had that passion is there for me. But it felt like the general passion for my day-to-day life was just sort of drifting, and thinking, is this something actually that I feel is my identity? Because it's so linked, it really is. So I just wanted to kind of share with you just some thoughts that I'd had about this whole changing career, changing your path in life, and trying to decide if actually this is the right thing to do. I think the main thing is that you have to know that only you know if it's definitely the right thing for you. I never considered myself to be particularly impulsive, or to kind of go with my gut, but then it's when you evaluate the things that you've done, like just now talking about the path I've taken, I realise that maybe I am pretty impulsive, and I do tend to follow what it feels to be the right thing to do for me. And I think when you do that and you keep that positive outlook on things, it works. It works for me anyway. And I think that you can be more in tune with yourself when you live that way. So when you really think about what it is you want to be, what's your identity in life. How do you want to view yourself more than how you want other people to view you? I think it's really, really important. And I've been thinking a little bit about, we all try and look for this path in life. We're all looking, are we on the right path, or have I deviated from my path? And I think it's something what you need to really do is find that path that resonates with you. So actually take yourself away from that moment. I think we just stampede our way through so much of life, and I often would feel uneasy about maybe, is this the right thing I'm doing? I'm going to carry on this path anyway because this is the path I'm going on, and it's whether or not that uncertainty of changing path is scarier to you than the idea of just staying on a path even though maybe it's not the right one for you. So I think you need to find something that resonates with you. that you really feel deep down in your bones is entirely what you are meant to be doing. Which is a lot harder than it sounds. I'm not going to pretend that's an easy thing to do. But I think it's taking that time, take a day off work to sit and just think about what it is you do on a day-to-day basis, and if that's really, really what you want to be doing. I found that there was a few questions I was asking myself. Every morning I think you need to just wake up, and if you just don't feel right, you're not really dying to jump out of bed, then you should just ask yourself a few little questions. I have them written down. So, what keeps you there? What keeps you in this little contained bubble that you live in of all these things? We're all, every day to day, we do all these things. So what keeps you there? And what's that costing you? What does it cost you to keep continually maybe doing this job or an activity or being in a certain relationship? What keeps you there? And what does it cost you, either financially or emotionally, physically, to do these things? And then once you've kind of discovered those two things, think about whether it's worth it. Is it worth the trade-off if you think it costs you a certain amount to do it? Do you think that actually for you, I can justify that. That feels absolutely fine. I think something I read somewhere that I kind of resonated with me anyway was moving on is harder than holding on. And I think that's really, really true for so much we do in life. I think a lot of the time we can forget that we really do truly only live once. We all walk around quite often just going day to day thinking always we've got 10 lives when actually we do only have one. And when you realise that, that's when you really want to take hold of everything and start to make the most of things day to day, not thinking week to week or month to month, or next year I'll do this, or this will happen in the future. I think it's important you work to goals, but don't always keep them so far out of your grasp that you miss out on the day to day, because that's what's so important. So all of this basically, as I'm rambling on, has led me to the biggest change for me, I guess, which is coming up, is that I've left my full-time job down in London to go to being a yoga teacher full-time. So it is slightly terrifying, slightly daunting, but really exciting at the same time. I think it can feel quite sad, about leaving this career that I was very desperate to have, and I've built up and put a lot of my time and energy in. But there's so much I take from it that I feel like this is just the right thing for me to do. And again, if I look back on how I've made these decisions before that I personally feel like have been the best decisions for me, I've not regretted any of them, was that I trusted that little inner voice that said, no, this is the way that your path is going to go now. And don't feel like a failure if you're moving path. It's absolutely fine to move on to a new path, to try something new, regardless of age or where you are or standing or what it means to you. As long as you can still survive day to day, I think it's really important to take these steps, because it means that you're still developing, you're still growing. We say that our career is so much a part of our identity, that our identity is always going to move and progress. So it's, you need to take your career along with it, alongside. So yeah, that's basically where I am, rambling on a little bit for you. So I'm currently trying to find new yoga classes, new clients. I'm going to be working on kind of my content and everything for my website and all my social media. So yeah, and I think for this point in my career now as well, it's really important to be incredibly open about kind of what you're doing. Speaking to lots and lots of new people, I found that I'd kind of forgotten, when you're in a career, you can become quite insular and you kind of work around those people that you need, and everything is very much in your head of like, today I'm doing this, I'm doing that, this needs to happen, this needs to happen, sort of thing. And actually now I've taken a step back from it, and I've had to be quite open with a lot of people going, I'm making these big changes, and yeah, I'm a little bit frightened doing it, and I can't guarantee it's going to work for me. But people really want to help you. And when you open yourself up to accepting help from people or taking advice is an amazing thing to be able to do. that you find that people, they do want to help you. So I've met some really amazing people over the last couple of months really, that are helping me along this new career path. So look for those people that you might speak to every single day that actually can be almost like a mentor, that can really help you through things. So yeah, so that's basically what I'm up to. No more commuting for me on a regular basis, and hopefully finding lots and lots of new classes and clients. So yeah, I hope to be teaching lots of you soon. If you've got any questions about any of the random ramblings I've just been talking about, then you can leave them below. If you want me to do any more sort of videos about these different ideas of like transitioning, kind of looking inward, maybe kind of more that mindfulness that I'm kind of really interested in at the moment, then give me a good old thumbs up. And next week we'll be back to the normal viewings of yoga classes, so I look forward to seeing you then. Bye! Don't know where I'm going to put these in. Maybe it's just an afterthought, but there's just a few things that I always think about that sometimes I'll just write them. I have like a chalkboard by my door where I write things to make me kind of feel motivated for the day. So I just wanted to go through some with you. I have them all written down here. This might just be an afterthought. I'm not sure if I can interlace this into my ramblings. But allow yourself to be your own person. You are not ruled by the expectations of others. I think that's a really, really important one. So don't worry about what other people might think. I was very nervous in telling a few people that I was going to leave my job, and actually I quite quickly just left my job. But actually, you only need to worry about how you feel about yourself. Don't worry about those expectations that other people might have on you, because you're going to blast through them anyway when you're solely thinking about what is the best for yourself and for everyone around you. Ooh, another good thing to do. Right now, 5 amazing qualities you have. Write them down. This can be really difficult, and I do this when I feel particularly shitty about myself, because we all feel a little bit shitty sometimes, and it's really important to just stop, think about 5 awesome things about you right this second. Give them a think. Sometimes that can be really tough. Like I was saying, I do this normally when I feel a little bit crappy, but I like to think about the things I know my friends would say about me, because they would be able to reel off stuff you wouldn't imagine. But it's a really good thing to do to yourself. Sit there and just think, you know what, there is amazing, amazing quality stuff about me. So do it right now. Second, 5 things that you are passionate about. So if you're currently in a job that you don't feel massively passionate about, or you just do on the day-to-day, 9 to 5, clock in, clock out, I want you to think about all those things that you know you're really passionate about. Whether there's stuff you've told people, whether it's stuff that you've never even tried, but you know deep down, God, I really, really want to do this stuff. Write them down. Have a look at that list. How often do you do those things? If you don't do them every day, you need to start doing them every single day. I'm even pointing a finger, I mean it. I feel like there should be a third thing for these random things. But I'm going to say, don't be so hard on yourself. I think that's a really, really good one. Don't feel like changing paths is that failure. It's not. I think sometimes you need to consider that if you're just going to chug yourself along a path that you know there's this little place in you that goes, this isn't exactly what I want to be doing, staying on that path, I think personally, would make you more of a failure than if you took a big step off that path and went for something completely new that you 100% in your body and soul felt was the right thing for you to do. I don't see how that would make you a failure compared to pushing on through, sticking with either a career or a life choice that you just know you're not happy about. So yes, it can feel very difficult, and it can mean that you're choosing uncertainty over familiarity, but that's not always a bad thing. So do it, do it, do it, do it.